Hey, okay, this is the first in a series of survival videos for the internal coming up. And first things here is writing the equation using your graphics when we've got some information, and specifically about hyperbolas here. So, remembering this is our generic form for the hyperbola, the plus b is going to give you your horizontal asymptote, and c is going to give you your vertical. Important things to remember when we're solving these problems. So if we take a look at our first example, our basic instructions are going to be we always want to find the asymptotes first. So if I look through here, I notice firstly my horizontal one goes through the 12. So I know that my horizontal asymptote is 12, so that's b equals 12, because b is the horizontal. Next thing to look for is c, the vertical one, and I see c here is equal to negative 10. So it's at negative 10, c is equal to negative 10. Second step, plug b and c into our equation. So I was going to have y is equal to x minus c plus b. But now instead of writing b, I'll write 12. And instead of writing c, I'm going to write negative 10. But you notice that's a double negative under there. So a negative and a negative become a positive. So leave the negative c in the negative in the general equation and just put in your c. If there's two of them, you turn it to positive. If there's one of them, you just leave it negative. We'll see that in some other examples as well. Okay. Next thing, find a. Pick a point you can read on the graph. Remember, it's always x first, then y, x comma y. Don't get it backwards. Plug in the x and y values of the point into the equation that we've got. So I'm going to take this x and this y and plug them in. Y goes in, don't get it wrong, like I just said, negative 13 is x and 32 is y. So I'm going to write my equation as 32 is equal to a over negative 13 plus 10 plus 12. And at this point, feel free to use your algebra, feel free to do some simplification and go through and solve it. But if algebra makes you want to pee yourself, don't do it. Don't change anything. Just put brackets in here and put it into solver in your calculator and make sure you hit solve. So if you need help using solver, ask me in class or go back and check your reference notes that we've been given, little cheat sheets on how to use solver, or some of the other videos. Anyways, find some way using algebra or using solver and figure out what a is. So a here is going to be equal to, I would show you but I can't use the calculator app right now. A is equal to, in this case, negative 60. So now I know what a is. I'm going to write out the equation using the x's and the y's again. So I'm going to go back to y is equal to, well, a is now negative 60, and I still have c and b, so I can actually use this form here that I've already simplified and put the a into that. So same thing here, it's going to be x plus 10 on bottom and plus 12 to the side. So there we go, equation all done. Y is equal to negative 60 over x plus 10 plus 12. And remember, if you do have to put it into your calculator for any reason, you need brackets around the x plus 10 in the bottom. Okay. Next example. We've got 3 of them here to do, so don't be afraid to pause it and try it on your own, see how you go. And these 3 problems, I'm giving you kind of a different take on each of them, so I'd recommend watching all 3 because they're all slightly different strategies using the same basic idea. So here I'm giving us some information in the actual question here. Find the equation of the hyperbola given the vertical asymptote is 3 and the horizontal asymptote is negative 5. So here I've been given some information that's not directly given me on my graph. You can tell here I don't know where the asymptotes are. I could probably guess, but it's hard to read on the graph where they are. So I'm telling you, the vertical asymptote is 3, the horizontal asymptote is negative 5. So my horizontal asymptote, that's always going to be b, so I know b is equal to negative 5. My vertical asymptote of 3, that's c, so I know c is going to be equal to 3. Now that I've found them, even though they were in words, I'm going to put them into the equation. So y is equal to a all over x minus, and c is now 3. So in this case it stays negative underneath because I just had the 1 from the generic and I put in the positive 3. And the plus b, it's actually plus a minus 5. And plus minus, that's kind of funny looking, so if it's a negative number for b, you can just erase the plus. Plus a negative will equal a negative, negative and a negative will equal a positive. That's kind of the main simplifications you'll have to do. Okay, so we've got our equation, almost. We need to find our point. Same process every time. We've got c and b. Now we're going to use a point and plug it in. My point here is 3.8, 0. So here, y is equal to 0. A we don't know. X is equal to 3.8 minus 3. Put it into brackets. And minus 5. Again, using solver, using anything you can think of. To get this, be sure to write it out for yourself. I know now that a is going to be equal to 4. And once you know a, go ahead and put it back into the equation where you had b and c already put in. So my final equation to write out would be y is equal to 4 over x minus 3 minus 5. And again, use brackets underneath if there's more than one term and you've got to use your calculator. So watch out for that. Sometimes the information that you need, it will be given to you in words. Like I said here, vertical asymptote is 3, horizontal is negative 5. Last example, and here's some of the information is actually given to us in the form of the equation already. Okay, so find the equation of the hyperbola in the form y is equal to a over x plus 200. So they've already given us some information, and quite a bit of it, because remember the generic form is y is equal to a over x minus c plus b. So what did they tell us? I can't tell from my graph where my asymptotes are at all. I've got no clue. But in this equation, they've already started it for me. I know that b is equal to 200, because I'd have the plus b at the back. And here I see no number underneath with x, so I know that's going to be 0. So c is equal to 0 and b is equal to 200. And I don't need to plug that into anything, because they already have done that for me. So in this case, y is equal to a over x plus 200. That's been given. That's basically going straight to step 3. Now I'm just going to use the point that they've given me as well. So remember, it's always x first, then y. So y is going to be equal to 150 is equal to something I don't know, a over 5 plus 200. Again, using your algebra, using any old fancy method you want, calculators or whatever. If you want to, out of habit, you're putting brackets around the bottom, but because it's just a 5 and not 5 plus anything, you don't have to, but just out of habit, if you're doing that, keep aware of it. And in this case, a will be equal to negative 250. So again, put it into solver, make sure that that's the number that you're getting, or try it by hand, make sure that's the number that you're getting. And now that I know that a is equal to 250, I can plug it into that form of the equation, where y is equal to negative 250 for a over x plus 200. And that would be my final form for the equation. And now you could use it to solve whatever fancy word problem they give you to go with it. Okay, so watch out for what's been given to you. Sometimes it will actually be in the equation. Sometimes it will be in words. And sometimes you've just got to read it all off the graph. So, good luck. Make sure you show your steps and you're working for it like we've done, writing out each equation as you go, and do some practice.